The stars blurred and twisted as the USS Defiant tore through the fabric of space. Inside the bridge, Captain Lisa Kendrick gripped the arms of her command chair. The ship shuddered as it prepared to exit warp space, dropping to sublight in 3, 2, 1, called out Navigator Eric Mills from his station. Reality snapped back into focus. The view screen showed a distant yellow star surrounded by planets of various sizes. This was the Sirius system, home to one of the hegemony's major outposts. Lisa took a deep breath. 6 months ago, Earth had been attacked without warning. Millions died when alien ships appeared over major cities and opened fire. The aliens, coalition calling themselves the hegemony, had retreated after humanity managed to destroy 3 of their ships, but the damage was done. In response, Earth's nations pooled their resources to finish their secret project, the USS Defiant, humanity's first true interstellar warship. "Status report," Lisa ordered, her voice steady despite the tension in her shoulders. Lieutenant John Rivera at the tactical station spoke first. "All weapons systems online, shields at full strength. Engineering reports all systems nominal," said Chief Engineer Maria Hernandez over the comm. "Warp drive cooling down. We can jump again in 20 minutes if needed." Communications Officer Olivia Bennett turned from her console with wide eyes. "Captain, I'm picking up a lot of comm traffic. That just went silent. Every channel in the system just went dead quiet the moment we appeared." Science Officer Paul Winters nodded as he studied his readings. "Confirming 17 vessels in orbit around the 4th planet. Based on their energy signatures, all are hegemony warships." He looked up. "They've spotted us. Ships are changing course to intercept." Lisa stood up and straightened her uniform. This moment had played out in her mind countless times during the long journey from Earth. 1 ship against 17. Humanity's best against the aliens who thought they could attack Earth without consequences. "Open a channel to all hegemony vessels," she ordered. Olivia worked her console. "Channel open, broadcasting on all frequencies." Lisa looked directly at the view screen. "This is Captain Lisa Kendrick of the Terran vessel USS Defiant. We have come to discuss the unprovoked attack on Earth 6 months ago. We seek peaceful resolution but are prepared to defend ourselves." Silence was the only response. "They're receiving but not answering," Olivia said after a moment. Paul studied his instruments with growing interest. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual patterns in their ship movements. They're maintaining strict formation, but it almost looks like they're giving us a wider berth than necessary." "Tactical assessment, Lieutenant Rivera?" Lisa asked. John frowned at his console. "Their weapons are powered up but not locked on. It's like they're ready to fight but hesitating." "Put the lead ship on screen," Lisa ordered. The view screen shifted to show a massive vessel shaped like a barbed arrowhead. Its dark hull absorbed the light from the nearby star, making it look like a hole cut into space itself. "Can you get me any information about what's happening on that ship?" Lisa asked. Paul adjusted his sensors. "I'm picking up unusual levels of activity. Internal communications are off the charts, I think." He paused, eyes widening. "Captain, I think they're afraid." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "Afraid?" "They outnumber us 17 to 1. "Yes, but remember what happened during the Earth attack," Paul said. 3 of their dreadnoughts were destroyed by our makeshift defense fleet. According to the data we gathered, no other species has ever managed to destroy even one of their capital ships." Lisa walked slowly to the front of the bridge, looking at the alien vessel on the screen. "They expected us to be easy prey, but we weren't. And now we've shown up in their territory with technology they didn't think we had." "Captain," Olivia called out, "I'm picking up transmissions between the hegemony ships and the planet below. They're sending out some kind of alert. The message keeps repeating one word that translates roughly to humans." A small smile formed on Lisa's lips. "So we've got their attention." Security Chief Alan Donovan entered the bridge and moved to stand beside the captain. "All decks report ready, Captain. Security teams are stationed at all critical junctions." "Good," Lisa said, "because I don't think we'll be getting a warm welcome." As if on cue, the alien ships began to move. They spread out in a half-circle formation, blocking the path toward the planet. They're forming a defensive perimeter, John reported. Still no weapons lock. Lisa returned to her chair. Maintain our course, steady as she goes. Paul looked up from his station. Captain, I've been analyzing their communication patterns. They're not just afraid, they're confused. From what I can gather, they have protocols for every known species in the galaxy. But humans weren't supposed to have this level of technology for at least another century. We're full of surprises, Lisa said. She turned to Olivia. Keep hailing them. I want to talk before anyone starts shooting. The minutes stretched out as the Defiant continued its approach. The alien ships maintained their distance, neither retreating nor advancing. Finally, Olivia straightened in her seat. Captain, we're receiving a response. On screen, Lisa ordered. The view screen flickered, then showed a being unlike anything most of the crew had seen before. It resembled a giant mantis with a sleek exoskeleton and multifaceted eyes that gleamed with intelligence. When it spoke, its mandibles clicked together, the sounds translated by the ship's computer. Terran vessel, this is Admiral Zakathar of the Hegemony Defense Fleet. Your presence in this system violates established boundaries. Return to your home system immediately. Lisa stood again, facing the alien with a calm expression. Admiral, Earth never agreed to any boundaries because you never attempted proper contact. Instead, you attacked without warning or provocation. The alien's mandibles clicked rapidly in what might have been agitation. The incident at your world was a necessary correction. Your species has been deemed potentially disruptive to galactic order. Disruptive? Lisa took a step forward. You murdered millions of our people. And you destroyed 3 of our highest-class warships, the Admiral responded. No species has achieved this in over 1,000 years of our rule. This confirms our assessment of your dangerous nature. Lisa looked around at her crew, seeing determination in their eyes. They had all lost someone in the attack. They had all volunteered for what might be a one-way mission. She turned back to the screen. Admiral, we came here with a message. Humanity will not be bullied, will not be conquered, and will not stand idle while threats remain among the stars. We seek peace, but make no mistake, we are ready for war. As the Admiral began to respond, alarm klaxons suddenly blared throughout the ship. Multiple weapon signatures powering up, John called out. They're targeting us. Lisa's voice cut through the noise with calm authority. Shields to maximum. Battle stations, let's show them what one Terran warship can do. The bridge of the USS Defiant hummed with tense energy as the 17 Hegemony warships locked their weapons on the lone human vessel. Captain Lisa Kendrick stood firm, her eyes fixed on Admiral Zakathar's insect-like face on the view screen. You have 10 seconds to power down your weapons, Lisa said evenly, or we will consider it an act of war. The alien admiral's mandibles clicked rapidly. You are in no position to make demands. 1 ship against 17? Your bravery borders on insanity. Lisa smiled. Maybe that's what you don't understand. About humans yet. She signaled to Lieutenant John Rivera with a subtle hand gesture. He nodded and entered a series of commands into his tactical console. What we have done, Lisa continued, addressing the alien, is transmit all details of your unprovoked attack on Earth to every communications relay in this system. If the Defiant is destroyed, that information will spread across the galaxy. Is that what the Hegemony wants? The Admiral's compound eyes narrowed. A bluff. The system is under our complete control. Science Officer Paul Winters spoke up from his station. Captain, I'm detecting unusual activity from 2 of the smaller Hegemony vessels. They appear to be breaking formation. On the screen, Admiral Zakathar turned sharply to speak to someone off-screen. The translation came through distorted, but the alarm in his voice was clear. Olivia Bennett reported from communications. They're arguing among themselves, Captain. Some kind of disagreement about how to handle us. Lisa seized the moment. Admiral, it seems not everyone in your fleet agrees with your approach. Perhaps we should talk instead of fight. We came seeking answers, not war. The bridge fell silent as they waited for the Admiral's response. After what felt like minutes, the alien's image returned to center screen. Very well. We will talk, But your ship will remain where it is. Any attempt to approach the planet will be met with immediate destruction. Lisa nodded. Agreed. Now, explain why you attacked Earth. Your species was not scheduled for contact for another century, the Admiral said. Your rapid technological advancement was unexpected and deemed threatening to galactic stability. Paul whispered to Lisa. Captain, I believe he's telling the truth, but not all of it. Lisa turned back to the screen. So you attacked us because we were developing too quickly. That's hardly justification for killing millions. Before the Admiral could answer, the ship rocked violently. Impact on our starboard shields, John called out. One of the smaller vessels just fired on us. Lisa gripped her chair. Status of shields? Holding at 92%, John reported, sounding surprised. Their weapons are powerful, but our shields are performing better than expected. On the view screen, Admiral Zakathar was shouting orders. Cease fire. Who authorized weapons discharge? Lisa cut the transmission. It seems the Admiral doesn't have complete control of his fleet. Tactical, target the ship that fired on us. Aim. For their weapon systems only. John worked his console quickly. Target locked. Fire. A brilliant beam of blue energy lanced out from the Defiant, striking the offending alien vessel with surgical precision. The enemy ship's weapons array sparked and went dark. Direct hit, John reported. Their weapons are disabled. Lisa reopened the channel to the Admiral. That was a warning. The next ship that fires on us without provocation will face more severe consequences. The bridge crew exchanged glances. They had just neutralized a threat without destroying the DI ship, a display of both power and restraint that the hegemony clearly hadn't expected. Admiral Zakathar's image reappeared, his posture noticeably different. There was a new tension in his movements. The ship that fired acted without orders, he said. But understand this, you are still deep in our territory with no allies and no escape route. As the Admiral spoke, Chief Engineer Maria Hernandez's voice came through on a private channel to the captain's chair. Captain, I need to speak with you urgently. We have a situation in engineering. Lisa kept her expression neutral. Admiral, I need a moment to consult with my crew. Please stand by. She muted the transmission and tapped her comm badge. What's happening, Chief? Maria's voice was tight with concern. We've detected unusual energy readings in junction box 47B. It looks like sabotage. Lisa's blood ran cold. Sabotage? How is that possible? I don't know yet, but if I'm right, someone's trying to overload our shield generators from the inside. Security Chief Alan Donovan immediately moved toward the turbolift. I'll take a team to investigate. Lisa nodded. Go, and be careful. As Alan left, Paul called out from his science station. Captain, I'm detecting unusual movement from 3 of the hegemony ships. They're repositioning to surround us. They're stalling, Lisa realized. Resume course toward the planet, 1/4 impulse. Let's see how they react. John entered the commands, and the Defiant began to move slowly forward. The response was immediate. All hegemony ships shifted to block their path. Open a channel to the planet's surface, Lisa ordered. Olivia looked surprised but followed the order. Channel open. This is Captain Lisa Kendrick of the Terran ship Defiant. We are broadcasting on all frequencies. We come in peace but have been met with hostility by the hegemony fleet. We seek only the truth about the attack on our homeworld. Moments later, Olivia's console lit up. Captain, we're receiving thousands of responses from the planet. Many different signals, not just from the hegemony outpost. Paul rushed to her station, checking the readings. These signals are coming from other species. I count at least 7. Different language patterns. They're asking for help. Lisa's eyes widened. Put them on screen. Rotate through the clearest signals. The view screen flickered to show a variety of alien faces. Some humanoid, others wildly different. Each spoke briefly before the image changed to another. The hegemony enslaves us. They control through fear. Humans, you must not trust. Please help us. The bridge fell silent as the messages continued. Finally, Lisa turned to her crew. It seems we've stumbled onto something much bigger than we thought. The ship suddenly rocked again, harder this time. Multiple impacts, John called out. 3 ships firing now. Return fire, Lisa ordered. Target weapons and propulsion systems only. As the Defiant engaged its attackers, Alan's voice came through on the comm. Captain, we've found the saboteur. It's Ensign Parker, or rather, something that looks like Parker. He's some kind of shapeshifter. Lisa's mind raced. Contain him. We need him alive. The ship shuddered as another blast struck their shields. Shields at 78%, John reported. Lisa took her seat and fastened her safety harness. All hands, battle, stations. It seems diplomacy has failed. Now we show them what one Terran warship can really do. The USS Defiant trembled as hegemony weapons fire pounded against its shields. On the bridge, Captain Lisa Kendrick gripped her command chair and shouted over the noise. Evasive pattern Delta, Lieutenant Rivera, target the lead ship's propulsion. Systems. John's fingers flew across his tactical console. Target locked. Fire. The Defiant's main weapons array discharged, releasing a concentrated beam of energy that sliced through space and struck the hegemony vessel with surgical precision. The alien ship's engines flickered and died. Direct hit, John reported. Their engines are offline, Olivia called out from communications. Captain, we're being hailed by 3 ships simultaneously. Put the Admiral on screen, Lisa ordered. Admiral, Sirgathar's face appeared, his compound eyes reflecting the emergency lights flashing behind him. Cease fire immediately, you cannot win this battle. Lisa leaned forward. We didn't start this fight, Admiral, but we're certainly prepared to finish it. The ship rocked again as another blast hit their shields. Shields at 64%, John reported. Lisa turned to navigator Eric Mills. Execute maneuver Kendrick 7. Eric nodded and entered the commands. The Defiant suddenly dropped down relative to the plane of battle, then accelerated forward at full impulse, passing directly beneath the hegemony formation. The alien ships scrambled to adjust their positions, but their larger size made them less maneuverable. 2 vessels collided, trying to turn too quickly, damaging each other in the process. They've never seen this kind of flying before, Eric said with a grim smile. Their formation tactics assume everyone fights on a flat plane. Paul looked up from his science station. Captain, I'm picking up unusual energy readings from the planet. Something's happening on the surface. Before Lisa could respond, Security Chief Alan Donovan's voice came through the comm system. Captain, we've secured the saboteur in the brig. It's definitely not human. Some kind of shapeshifter that was mimicking Ensign Parker. Where's the real Parker? Lisa asked sharply. We found him locked in a maintenance closet, unconscious but alive. Dr. Walsh is treating him now. Good work. Stay alert for any other infiltrators. The ship jerked violently as a particularly powerful blast struck their port side. Port shields down to 40%, John called out. They're coordinating their attacks now. Chief Engineer Maria Hernandez's voice came through from engineering. Captain, I have an idea. If we reverse the polarity of our shield emitters during their next barrage, we can create a feedback pulse. It might disable their weapons without destroying their ships. Do it, Lisa ordered. Rivera, draw their fire to our starboard side. Let's give the chief the shot she needs. John nodded and adjusted their defensive posture. The Defiant rolled slightly, presenting its stronger shields to the enemy. 5 hegemony ships broke formation and moved to surround them. They're trying to box us in, Eric warned. Lisa remained calm. Hold position. Wait for them to fire. Tense. Seconds passed as the enemy ships moved into position. Then all 5 fired simultaneously. Now, Lisa shouted. Maria activated her modified shield system just as the enemy weapons fire made contact. Instead of being absorbed or deflected, the energy seemed to gather on the Defiant's shield surface, building in intensity before releasing in a massive pulse that radiated outward. The pulse washed over the attacking ships. One by one, their lights flickered and dimmed. Their weapons went dark. It worked. Maria's voice was triumphant. Their primary power systems are overloaded. They'll need at least 10 minutes to reset their systems. The bridge crew let out a cheer, but Lisa remained focused. What about our shields? Holding at 52% overall. The modification worked perfectly. Paul suddenly called out from his station. "Captain, a new ship is entering the system. It's not hegemony design." All eyes turned to the view screen as a sleek vessel with organic-looking curves approached. It was smaller than the hegemony warships, but moved with incredible speed and grace. "They're hailing us," Olivia reported. "On screen," Lisa ordered. Image shifted to show a humanoid alien with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. When it spoke, its voice was melodic. "Terran vessel, I am Captain Nevek of the Kavari Resistance. We have been monitoring your battle. What you have achieved against the hegemony is unprecedented." Lisa straightened in her chair. "This is Captain Lisa Kendrick of the USS Defiant. We came seeking answers about an attack on our world." Nevek nodded. "The hegemony fears your kind. They have good reason to do so, as you have just demonstrated." The alien captain paused. "We need to speak with you urgently. May I come aboard your vessel? What I must tell you cannot be transmitted safely." Lisa looked to her senior officers, who nodded their agreement. "We'll prepare a shuttle bay for your arrival." As the communication ended, Admiral Zakathar hailed them again. His demeanor had changed completely, the arrogance replaced by something close to fear. "Captain Kendrick, you must not trust the Kavari. They are rebels and outlaws. Like the people sending distress signals from your planet below," Lisa countered. The Admiral's mandibles clicked rapidly. "You don't understand what you're involving yourself in. The stability of 12 star systems depends on hegemony control. Perhaps it's time for that to change," Lisa said before cutting the transmission. She turned to her first officer. "Commander, prepare a security detail to meet our guest in Shuttle Bay 2. I want to hear what the Kavari have to say." As the Defiant maintained position, the disabled hegemony ships slowly began to regain power. The remaining vessels held their distance, clearly reassessing their approach. In engineering, Maria worked frantically to strengthen their shields. "Captain, I can get us back to full shield strength in about 20 minutes, but we've depleted 30% of our primary power reserves with that feedback pulse." "Understood. Do what you can," Lisa replied. The Kavari ship approached carefully, slipping between the scattered hegemony vessels. Several of the functional hegemony ships moved to intercept it, but stopped when the Defiant adjusted its weapons to target them. "They're afraid to engage us now," John observed. That feedback pulse showed them something they've never seen before. Lisa nodded. "Let's hope our new friends have something useful to tell us. I have a feeling we've stumbled into a much larger conflict than we realized." Paul looked up from his console. "Captain, I've been analyzing the communications from the planet. There are at least 6 different species down there sending messages, and none of them are friendly toward the hegemony. It appears this entire system is under occupation. A prison system," Lisa mused. "And we just rattled the guards. The ship's comm system activated. Shuttle Bay 2 to bridge. The Kavari vessel has docked safely. Captain Nevek is requesting permission to come aboard." Lisa stood and straightened her uniform. "Permission granted. Let's find out what's really happening in this part of the galaxy." Captain Lisa Kendrick stood in Shuttle Bay 2 as the airlock door slid open. 4 security officers flanked her, weapons holstered but ready. Captain Nevek of the Kavari stepped through the doorway, followed by 2 of his own crew. The alien, Captain, was taller than Lisa had expected, standing nearly 7 feet high. His blue skin had a slight shimmer to it, and his large dark eyes seemed to take in everything at once. He wore a simple gray uniform with no visible weapons. "Captain Kendrick," Nevek said with a slight bow. "Thank you for allowing us aboard your vessel. What you have accomplished today will be remembered for generations." Lisa nodded politely. "We still have much to discuss. Please follow me to our conference room." As they walked through the corridors of the Defiant, Nevek looked around with obvious interest. "Your technology is unexpected. The hegemony intelligence reports claimed humans were at least a century away from achieving interstellar capability." "We work well under pressure," Lisa replied simply. In the conference room, Lisa's senior officers were already waiting. Science Officer Paul Winters, Lieutenant John Rivera, and Communications Officer Olivia Bennett sat on one side of the table. Dr. Karen Walsh had joined them as well, her medical kit beside her chair. Once everyone was seated, Lisa addressed their guests directly. "You said you have information that couldn't be transmitted safely. We're listening." Nivek placed a small device on the table. It projected a holographic image of what appeared to be a DNA strand. "This is human DNA," he explained. "And this..." He touched the device and the image changed to show another similar strand. "This is Kavari DNA. Do you see the difference?" Paul leaned forward, studying the images. "The human DNA has an additional sequence here." He pointed to a section of the strand. "Exactly," Nivek said. "This sequence is unique to humans. We call it the silent gene. It makes your species immune to the hegemony's primary method of control." "Control?" Lisa asked. "The hegemony rules through fear, yes, but also through direct mental influence. Their highest caste possesses powerful, psychic abilities. They can suggest things to other species, make them compliant, pacify whole populations." Dr. Walsh looked skeptical. "You're talking about mind control." "A crude term, but essentially correct," Nivek confirmed. "It doesn't work on every individual, but it affects enough to keep populations subdued. They can cloud judgment, instill fear, or even implant basic commands." John crossed his arms. "But this doesn't work on humans." "It doesn't," Nivek said. "We discovered this by accident. A small human trade delegation visited a Kavari outpost 3 years ago. When hegemony officials attempted to influence them, the humans were completely unaffected. The hegemony observers were disturbed by this discovery." Lisa's eyes widened with realization. "So they attacked Earth not to conquer us but out of fear?" "Precisely. A species that cannot be controlled is a threat to their entire power structure. If other subjugated races learned that humans were immune..." Nivek left the implications hanging. "They'd have a revolution on their hands," Olivia finished. The ship suddenly rocked slightly. Lieutenant Rivera tapped his communicator. "Bridge. Report." "The hegemony ships are regrouping," came the reply. "They're maintaining distance but forming a blockade pattern. We can't leave the system without going through them." Lisa turned back to Nivek. "How many systems does the hegemony control?" 47 inhabited star systems, with over 200 sentient species." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "That's why they're so desperate to stop us," Paul said. "If we take this information back to Earth, Earth would know the truth and could prepare defenses," Lisa finished. "But more importantly, we could potentially develop a way to help other species resist hegemony control." Dr. Walsh had been quiet, but now she leaned forward. "Captain, if I could study this silent gene more closely, I might be able to synthesize a compound that would temporarily grant other species the same immunity." Nivek's eyes widened. "You could do this?" "Theoretically, yes," Walsh said. "I'd need samples and time to work, but it should be possible." Lisa stood and paced the room. "This changes everything. Our mission was to gather information about the attack on Earth and return home, but now you have the chance to free dozens of worlds," Nivek said quietly. "My people have fought the hegemony for generations, but we've never had a real advantage until now." The ship's comm system activated. "Captain to the bridge. Admiral Zakathar is demanding to speak with you." Lisa nodded to her officers. "Doctor, Walsh, work with Captain Nivek on that compound. The rest of you with me." On the bridge, Admiral Zakathar's insect-like face filled the view screen. His mandibles clicked agitatedly. "Captain Kendrick, you harbor traitors and rebels. This is your final warning. Surrender the Kavari and depart our space immediately, or we will destroy your vessel." Lisa took her seat calmly. "Admiral, we both know that's not going to happen. Your ships have already seen what the Defiant can do. Do you really want to test us further?" "You are one ship," the Admiral hissed. "We have called for reinforcements. Soon 30 more warships will arrive. Even your impressive vessel cannot stand against such numbers." Lisa glanced at Lieutenant Rivera, who nodded confirmation. Their long-range sensors had detected multiple warp signatures approaching. How long until they arrive? Lisa asked quietly. 6 hours at their current speed, John replied. Lisa turned back to the Admiral. We have 6 hours to resolve this peacefully. I suggest we use that time wisely. There will be no resolution except your departure or destruction, Zikathar said, firmly. The Kavari are wanted criminals. Their lies will not sway you if you are wise. They're not lies, Lisa replied. We've confirmed your psychic influence capabilities and our immunity to them. The question is, what happens when we share this information with other worlds? For the first time, the Admiral seemed genuinely alarmed. You would destabilize half the galaxy based on your limited understanding of complex political realities. Billions would die in the chaos that would follow. Or billions would be freed, Lisa countered. We'll take our chances. She signaled to Olivia to cut the transmission. Options? Lisa asked her crew. Paul spoke first. Captain, while you were meeting with the Kavari, I've been analyzing the communication patterns from the planet. There's a major resistance network down there. They're waiting for a signal to rise up. And we just might be that signal, Lisa mused. She turned to John. Tactical assessment? If we hold our position, we can defend against the current fleet. But 30 more ships? Even with our superior shields and weapons, the numbers would overwhelm us eventually. Olivia looked up from her console. Captain, I'm receiving a secured transmission from Dr. Walsh. She says she's made a breakthrough with the Kavari. Lisa stood. Put her on screen. Dr. Walsh appeared, her expression excited. Captain, it works. We've synthesized a compound from human blood samples that temporarily blocks the hegemony's psychic influence. We've tested it on one of the Kavari crew who was particularly susceptible, and it completely negated the effect. How quickly can you produce more? Lisa asked. With the equipment in medbay, enough for perhaps 100 individuals within the next few hours. But if we could distribute the formula... Lisa's eyes gleamed with determination. Olivia, can you broadcast the chemical formula and production method to the resistance on the planet? Olivia nodded. Yes, Captain, easily. Lisa looked around at her crew. Then we have our plan. We're not running and we're not surrendering. We're going to give the oppressed people of this system the means to fight back. She sat back in her chair, her decision made. The hegemony is about to learn another lesson about humanity. We don't just defend ourselves. We help others fight back too. The next 5 hours aboard the USS Defiant passed in a flurry of activity. Dr. Karen Walsh and her medical team worked tirelessly to produce as much of the immunity compound as possible. Captain Nevek's Kavari crew helped distribute small batches to resistance leaders on the planet below, using their shuttle's stealth technology. Meanwhile, Captain Lisa Kendrick kept the hegemony fleet occupied with ongoing negotiations that were going nowhere. Every minute they talked was another minute for the resistance to prepare. Admiral Zakathar is hailing us again, Olivia reported from her communication station. Lisa straightened in her chair. On screen, the Admiral's insect face appeared, his compound eyes reflecting the light of multiple displays around him. Captain Kendrick, our reinforcements will arrive in less than 1 hour. This is your final opportunity to surrender the Kavari rebels and leave our space. I need more time to consider your proposal, Lisa replied calmly. The safety of my crew is my primary concern. You have had 5 hours to consider. Your time is up. The Admiral leaned closer to the screen. We know what you are doing. Our agents report unusual activity on the planet. Whatever you are planning will fail. Lisa maintained her composure. Admiral, perhaps it's time we spoke honestly with each other. Your hegemony rules through fear and psychic manipulation. Humanity is immune to your control, which is why you fear us. But consider this. If your rule was just and beneficial, would you need to control people's minds? The Admiral's mandibles clicked rapidly. You understand nothing of galactic stability. Before the hegemony, these systems were in constant war. We brought peace. Peace through slavery is no peace at all, Lisa countered. Before the Admiral could respond, Lieutenant John Rivera called out, Captain, multiple explosions on the planet's surface. The Resistance is making their move. The view screen split to show images from the planet below. In cities across the main continent, people of various alien species were rising up against hegemony forces. Many appeared to be security personnel who had turned against their masters after taking the immunity compound. Admiral Zakathar roared in anger. "What have you done?" Lisa stood, facing the screen squarely. "We gave them a choice, something you never did." The Admiral cut the transmission. Seconds later, alarms blared across the bridge. "All hegemony vessels are powering weapons," John reported. "They're moving to attack position." Lisa acted quickly. "Shields to maximum, battle stations." The first volley from the hegemony ships hammered against the Defiant's shields. The ship rocked but held steady. "Shields at 83% and holding," John called out. "Return fire," Lisa ordered. "Target their weapon systems only." The Defiant's weapons lanced out, striking two of the lead ships with precision. Their weapon arrays went dark. Science Officer Paul Winters looked up from his console. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy readings from 3 of the hegemony vessels. They appear to be charging some kind of massive energy weapon we haven't seen before." "Evasive maneuvers," Lisa ordered. Navigator Eric Mills responded immediately, sending the Defiant into a tight spiral. But the hegemony ships adjusted their aim, tracking the human vessel's movement. "They're locked on," Paul warned. "Brace for impact," Lisa shouted. The 3 hegemony ships fired simultaneously. Their beams converged in space, combining into a single massive energy pulse that struck the Defiant head-on. The bridge shook violently. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks. Emergency lights flickered on as main power fluctuated. "Shields down to 17%, John reported through the smoke. "Another hit like that and we're finished." From engineering, Chief Maria Hernandez's voice came through, strained but determined. "Captain, I need 2 minutes to reroute emergency power to the shields." "We don't have 2 minutes," Lisa responded, helping an injured crew member back to their station. Suddenly, Olivia called out, "Captain, multiple new contacts appearing." Everyone turned to the view screen, expecting to see the hegemony reinforcements. Instead, dozens of smaller ships were rising from the planet's surface. "It's the Resistance fleet," Paul exclaimed. "They've launched everything they have." The Resistance ships, though smaller and less powerful than the hegemony warships, attacked, with surprising coordination. They swarmed around the larger vessels, targeting engines and weapon systems. "The Kavari captain is hailing us," Olivia reported. Nevek's face appeared on screen. He was on his shuttle leading the Resistance forces. "Captain Kendrick will keep them busy. Complete your mission." Lisa nodded. "Thank you, Captain." She turned to her crew. "Plot a course for the edge of the system. Once our shields are back, we're making a run for it." "What about the Resistance?" Olivia asked. "We've given them the tools they need," Lisa replied. "Now we need to get this information back to Earth." As Maria worked to restore the shields, the battle outside intensified. The Resistance fighters were taking heavy losses, but they were also inflicting serious damage on the hegemony fleet. "Shields back online at 42%, John finally reported. "It's not ideal, but it should be enough for a run to the edge of the system." "Set course and engage at maximum impulse," Lisa ordered. The Defiant turned and accelerated away from the battle. 3 hegemony ships broke off to pursue them. "They're gaining on us," Eric warned. "Divert auxiliary power to engines," Lisa commanded. The ship surged forward, but the hegemony vessels were still closing. "They'll be in weapons range in 30 seconds, John reported grimly. Suddenly, sensors detected new warp signatures. Everyone tensed, expecting the hegemony reinforcements to finally arrive. Instead, 3 sleek vessels emerged from warp space directly between the Defiant and its pursuers. They immediately opened fire on the hegemony ships. "More Kavari vessels," Paul exclaimed, "from another system." Nevek's voice came through again. "The word has already spread, Captain Kendrick. Other resistance cells have joined the fight. We can handle things here now. Go tell your people what you've discovered." Lisa took a deep breath, then nodded to Eric. "Set course for Earth, maximum warp. Let's go home." As the Defiant prepared to jump to warp speed, Lisa looked one last time at the battle behind them. What had started as one ship standing alone against the hegemony had sparked something much bigger. "Captain," Paul said quietly, "long-range sensors are detecting similar uprisings in 2 neighboring systems. The news is spreading faster than the hegemony can contain it." Lisa smiled. "One ship can make a difference after all." The stars stretched into streaks of light as the Defiant jumped to warp, leaving behind a wave of rebellion that would soon sweep across the stars. The silence of fear that had gripped these systems for centuries was broken, replaced by the sounds of freedom. The legend of the lone Terran warship that had changed everything was just beginning.